this is Jana with Purl Together. So in this week's video, I want to talk to you about using Ravelry's advanced search feature to discover the exact correct pattern for what you're looking to do. So for example, I have this kind of mystery lace weight yarn. I got this from Brown Sheep Company over in Mitchell, Nebraska. They have a seconds store. I've talked about it before. This has a label that it says Legacy Lace and it's by ounces. Anyway, so the point is I have about 1,000 yards that I know for sure of this lace, and I'm not sure what I want to do with it. So I'm going to show you how to use Ravelry's advanced search function to narrow things down from thousands of results to the exact right thing just for you.
All right, so here we are on the Ravelry's main page, and I'm just going to go up here to where it says patterns in the very beginning. And we're going to, and rather than typing anything in here, unless you know the name of the pattern you're looking for, but in this case we don't, because I have this giant skein of purple lace weight, and I'm just needing to look for patterns that, you know, that would be suitable for, that I like, given the criteria that I prefer. So I'm going to click right here where it says pattern browser and advanced search. So the advanced search function is fantastic. You can narrow things down, and people don't realize all the choices that are over here that you can use to narrow or expand your parameters. So I know that I'm doing knitting. I am not a crocheter. Okay, and let's say I want the pattern to be free, although maybe I don't care because I'd be willing to pay for the right one. If I found just the right thing, I would be willing to pay for it. But yes, I want it to have a photo. I want to see what I'm getting or what I'm going to be knitting. And I have lace weight, or maybe I have light fingering, but we'll go ahead and go with lace weight. And I know that I have approximately 1,000 yards. So 9 to 1,200, I could look at that, but I want to be careful about that. I might also want to check mark the 750 to 900 yard just to make sure that I'll have enough. So that gives me 120 pages of results. So that's kind of a lot. I don't necessarily want a triangular shawl. I don't necessarily want, let's go to that. I do want a shawl. I don't necessarily want to have a sweater or a tee or a pullover. I would like to have a shawl. So under clothing, I'll click that, and I will not put clothing. I want it to be accessories. There we go. Accessories, neck or torso. And I want it to be a shawl or a wrap. Okay. Well, that still gives me like 3,500 something results. So that's a lot. Now to get rid of these little tiled windows, you can just put escape, and that doesn't change or alter the things that you check marked. All that does is close those windows so you can see what's what. Now I still have 75 pages, and 3,561 matches. So that's quite a bit. And I don't want to have that many. So let's narrow it down. I know that I don't necessarily want a triangular shawl. I would really rather have a semicircle, like something like this maybe, or a rectangular wrap. So the way that I might go about narrowing that down is looking here. Crochet techniques, we'll leave that alone. Now design elements and fabric characteristics are definitely something to look at. So design elements are these things refer more to like the edging, like does it have a lace edging? Well, I'm not sure if I require that or not, so I'm probably going to leave that alone. I don't have pockets or sleeves on a wrap, so I just want you to be kind of familiar with what's included in here in case these are any of the features that you'd be looking for if you were hunting for a specific sweater pattern, for example. That might be helpful. Design elements. That was design elements, sorry. Fabric characteristics. Now this is where you're going to find things like brioche, cables, eyelets, lace, things like that. Now, I don't really have any criteria of whether my wrap has to include those elements or not. I'm more concerned with the shape. So I'm going to go to shapes. So if I click half circle, then obviously, see, this takes some playing around with a little bit. That gives me 345 results. Now, if I take that off and click rectangle, because something can't be both. You can't have it be a half circle and a rectangle both. And then let's leave that. That's still quite a few results, okay? But what if I want it to have, ooh, see, that's lovely. Now that's in my library already because we all know I love cables. But let's say I want something to have more cables. And I want to make sure that it has cables because I'm kind of more into cables than I am at lace. Although this one is nice too, and that's also in my library or my queue, I believe. So, you know, I still have 17 pages, but that sure is better than 75 pages. So I might be willing to, you know, kind of surf through a few of those to see what that's like. And right now it's sorted by best match. So these are the best match. I'm not sure how the computer knows that. You could have the most popular projects out of the criteria that I've put in there. And I click that, and this tells me the most popular projects that people have downloaded or clicked on. I'm not sure if that means projects that has been knitted, actually completed, or just ones that have been downloaded. I don't know how they determine that necessarily. But I might be willing to scroll through some of these to see if there's anything that I particularly like. I'm all about the Celtic knotwork, so that's kind of cool. Yep, and see, I have that in my queue already. I knew I liked that one. So that kind of gives you an idea. If I wanted to narrow that down even further, I could go back to the fabric characteristics and I could add cables to that. And then I would only have 23 results. Some of those are really cool. So that gives you an idea, though, of how you can do that. So let's do another one. Let's clear all of this, clear search. Let's go back to the beginning and let's look at some other yarn that I have. And let's say I have these 2 skeins of Plymouth Gina, and I don't know what I want to do with that. I don't know. Maybe what I want to do is just look at that and see what other people have made using that same yarn. So I could type that in, Plymouth Gina, and it tells me that there are almost 4,000 projects. But let's say I want to narrow that down. Ooh, that's cool. Check that out. Oh, so easily distracted. Now this is feltable. This is 100% wool, I believe. So we will have some felted projects in here also. Let's say I just want to look at hats. I want to see all the hats that people have done. So I can go here to pattern category, click that and go to accessories, hat, and I can even narrow down the type of hat. But let's say I just want to see all the hats. And this shows me all the hats that people have made using this same yarn. I could even search inside these projects for this specific colorway name or number. I can do the advanced search using just those results, which is pretty cool. And that gives me 74 results. So that you just need to play around with this some and see what you can find using exactly that. Well, that's interesting. Oh, okay. So here's some hats using what I have done here. And I can narrow that down again if I want to see all the hats, only the hats. Maybe that's how I should have done it the first time. Okay, so there's all the hats. Close that using this particular yarn. And you can see that it did narrow it down using the number 13. So I'm not sure if there's, oh, I see. That's also using the patterns or any field of people's projects that has that 13 in there. Although this is the colorway that I have. That's interesting. Okay, so let's go back to Ravelry and patterns and using the advanced search. Let's say you wanted to go and look at all the fingerless mitts and you knew you wanted to make some fingerless mitts. You go to accessories and hands, fingerless gloves and mitts. And there's 21,000 of them. And you want them to be made out of sock yarn. I'm just making this up just to give you an idea of the power of this database and search engine. Let's say you know you have 1 skein of fantastic sock yarn, and that's what you want to use it for. So sock yarn is probably between 300 and 450 yards. We want it to be fingering, which is sock yarn. And we still have 21 pages. So see, that's a mitten. And you want to see all the color work. And you want it to be free with a photo. So you can see how this narrows down pretty quickly. And there's only 58 that have color work, and that will tell you the different kinds. Stranded color work is the most popular. And now we're down to 25 results, given that specific criteria. So that's pretty amazing that you can go from thousands and thousands of results by just clicking a few squares. You can get down to the nitty-gritty of what you're looking for. This is pretty fantastic. So I hope, oh, the in-paper mitts, yep, I've seen these before. Those are amazing and free. Free is good. So let's say now you want to look at all of the projects. There's 5,300 projects, and you want to see if they have, anybody has made that pattern with your specific yarn. So mine is a skein. Let's see, I want to know if anybody has used Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock in this particular pattern. So if I wanted to search inside this pattern, I wonder if I could look for Blue Moon, just the beginning of the company name, inside here. Okay. So here's somebody that used Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock. That's exactly what I was just talking about. So do you see, this really pretty fantastic.
All right, I hope you found that helpful. As you can see, Ravelry is a wealth of fantastic information. It's a huge pattern database, as well as the blogs and the yarn database and just the forums in the community. We have a group over there. We have a group on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. All the links are down below. Click show more in the video description. All right, thanks for watching.